All right. Welcome everybody to Live with Jeremy Cole. Where in the world is Jeremy Cole tonight, Jeremy?
Jeremy Cole's at home right now, but that will be short lived. Uh, Here on the north end of Kentucky and Barkley Lakes, where four rivers come together. And right now, it's like one big giant flooded river. All of them's
I
out of their banks. And I think everybody's struggling with flooded water right now. But
I think you're right. I understand that the water situation in your end is pretty rough, but where we're headed this weekend, we don't need to worry about bringing no boats.
you might to get around Louisville.
And
Poor
how far?
Louisville's been flooded for, a week now.
Oh,
Uh, One of the owners of the King Cat Trail actually lives in a condo right there across from the weigh-in that we had at the Classic, and they had to move out last week. So
oh man, I know it's
water's
a
done come
mess
out of the tank.
everywhere, and everybody is fighting the water situation. But we're going to the Catfish conference, Jeremy.
That's right. We're gonna have fun.
Absolutely, it's going to be blessed. Now, what are you doing where you're at right now?
What am I doing? I'm getting ready to head to Helena, Arkansas, bright and early in the morning. They have a brand new mayor down there, and we're working on putting together another super event for 2020 and getting everybody rounded up. And then, as soon as I leave Helena, Arkansas, it's off to Louisville, Kentucky, to the Catfish Conference to see everybody. We're staying at an Airbnb house with Matt and Melissa Miles with Catfish Clothing, so we're excited to be there with them, and uh, got a lot of people that's going to be there. I hope it's going to be their biggest one yet. So
Well, the Catfish Conference has grown every year. I'm sure it's going to grow this year. I'm not sure how you're going to deal with Matt Miles for any extended period of time. He's such a blast to be around, but I think his wife will probably keep him under control.
well, that's the only reason I agreed to a full contract to stay in a house with them is Melissa come keep him under wraps, and that way we don't have to, kick him out or nothing. So
I'm
I hope
sure
I
that's
hope
right.
Matt's watching right now.
Yeah, me too. I haven't seen him in the. And for all of you that don't know, after all the trouble that we had Monday night with going live on YouTube and Facebook, we are live on YouTube and Facebook right now. Don't know anybody else that can do that. We've worked over a month getting this program ready to go. We're not quite there yet, but we're going to keep working on it till we make it happen. I know this is the correct way to do what we do, and we're going to keep doing it until we get it right. And when we get it right, it'll be great. We work tonight to get Jeremy's King Cat stuff up on there and get him in here live. It's been a kind of an issue, but we got it going. Um, where's your next tournament at, Jeremy?
Well, it's probably one of my favorite places to go. Somewhere me and you have talked about uh, kind of continuously over a period of a few years, but I actually talked to them today, and they're going to have a bunch of vendors there. But we're going to be on Lake Tawakoni over in Tawakoni, Texas, about 30 miles east of Dallas. Man, is it a big fish lake. The city of West Tawakoni is at times, our Walmart at home probably have more people in it than the city of West Tawakoni. Uh, it's one way to put it. But
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you something. All of those people in the city of West Tawakoni are so humble to have the cat fishermen there. They do anything to have the cat fishermen there. They take so good care of our fishermen. And it's just a really neat little place to go. And they're growing. They're getting a hotel this year. They're getting a Holiday Inn. They're getting a
wow.
big steakhouse, and so we're finally starting to see West Tawakoni grow. This year, we want to thank the city of Emory, Texas, which is in between Tawakoni and Lake Fort, for jumping on board and being a part of it. But I'm just excited. It's Lake Tawakoni, Texas. I don't know if you hadn't heard about it. Um, it's just a big fish manufacturing plant out there.
It is, and I know this morning I have some people that I think the world of, uh, Michael and Terry Littlejohn, and they put some giants in the boat again today. They've been doing it really steady the last several days. So, uh, the fish are there, And it wouldn't surprise me any day now to see a 100-pound fish pulled out of that lake. I know they have had some big fish pulled out of that lake. And what a better time to do it than a Cabela's King Cat tournament.
That's right. And Mr. Doug Stinga with the In Fisherman come 2 years ago. They come in a big lund, didn't have a big live well. And he called me up. He said, hey, man, I've got a big fish. And you know what the lake record is? And I lost him. He lost cell phone service. So I sat there where we were at trying to get a hold of him, looked up the lake record flathead, and he called me back. He said, well, our scales bottomed out at like 80. And he said, we think he's about a 90-pound flathead. And he sent me a picture, and his head had to be as wide as both him and his cameraman sitting there. That's the biggest flathead I think I've ever even seen in a picture. And I said, well, you just need to put him in the water, get him back to me some way so we can weigh him, and you'll have a lake record easy. Because I think it was like 40, 50 pounds or something. And he just kind of laughed, and he said, well, that sucks. He said, we done let it go. Which is great because somebody else could catch it during the tournament. And it was cold. It was like 20 degrees that year. So it just goes to show you that they can catch flathead in 20-degree weather. And it could be done this year. So
absolutely. You know, in our Facebook chat, I do not have, we're messing with these programs, trying to go live on Facebook and YouTube, and it's kind of a struggle. But I see that one of your participants that's at Lake Tawakoni, Ryan Nagy, is in our chat. So I know that him and his partner will be there. The Gerloff boys will be there. There's a bunch of guys from my area that fishes a lot of the same trails and stuff that we do that's coming down to see you. And them boys are pretty good. Who's them boys that won your championship?
Justin Cook and Gary Ryan. I think they've won twice at Tawakoni, and they've placed in the top 5 every year they've been. You know, an old Texas cat fisherman is hard to beat. They're good fishermen. But when them Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma boys come down, they give them a run for their money every year.
Yeah, they're pretty serious. That Cook boy and Ryan Nagy, all them guys. And of course, I'm very close friends with both the Gerloff boys, and they are dead serious about fishing catfish tournaments, as all of them are. They
are. And I'm trying to think, one of the local guys out there, Paul Miles, and his brother actually hold the heaviest 5-fish stringer ever weighed in a king cat tournament. Is the first year I started, 2013. I was sore after that weigh-in, but they weighed in 239 pounds in 5 fish. Second place weighed in about 2 boats in front of them with 236 pounds, and about 5 boats in front of them we weighed in 233 pounds. And they just kept getting bigger every time we'd get them in.
That's some great numbers.
You talk about a lot of fish. That was a lot of fish, but they still hold the 5-fish record. So
that's a great number. You know, I think you and I have talked about this, but some buddies of mine, Jason Jackson and Justin, lost my train of thought. But anyhow, 230 pounds of fish on 223 on 3 fish in St. Louis.
Really?
That was the record that was set by Danny Salfin, where he had 195 pounds on 3 fish. Lasted for a long time, but Jason and Justin Wolf, they went down there and had a partner with them, and I mean, they set the water on fire. It's a crying shame that there's not a place down there with enough parking to have a big tournament in St. Louis. You know, I know there's a lot of work on it, but it's really, really hard because of the parking situation down there. But man, I hear all this stuff about all the great places in the world, and there are some great fisheries in the United States, but I've been to all of them, and there's nothing like the Mississippi River down around the St. Louis, because they can't commercial fish. All them fish stay in there, and there's so much barge traffic they just tear up their nets. It's not like down at Memphis where it's big old wide area. St. Louis narrows up quite a bit.
That's right. That's right. And, you know, then again, too, they don't get as much fishing pressure as some of these lakes do either.
Oh, no.
Mississippi River, she's a whole different animal. So
it is. And while we're on that subject, I know that there's a lot of tournaments going on today or this weekend. And I know that you had a tournament scheduled for this weekend. And these guys that are complaining about people canceling tournaments, folks, you got to understand, safety first, regardless of what your opinion is. That tournament director is the guy that's responsible. And if he says it's not safe, you got to go with that, because you cannot take a chance on something happening and him having to live with that the rest of his life.
Yeah, we just canceled a crappie tournament in northern Alabama, and it's on a lake system. So, you know, you can imagine it being on a river system right now. But
exactly.
You know, as a tournament director, and speaking from doing this 6 years, that is my biggest fear. And I woke up at night worried. You know, the classic, I didn't sleep for almost a week because I was worried. You know, that is probably the only time that I will ever not cancel or reschedule a tournament was last year's classic. And it was just, you had to weigh all your situations, and it was dangerous. Anytime you get on a river, it's dangerous. Good conditions, bad conditions. But, you know, if it hadn't happened the week of and it wasn't the classic, it would have been no doubt in my mind reschedule it. But, you know, anytime that a tournament director has to reschedule a tournament, I've spent all day today calling bait shops, calling marinas, calling the mayor, chamber, local guys, because some guys want to fish it, some don't. So you have to call 10s and 20 people just to get a good answer to where you can put together your best judgment. So
that's right.
It's not an easy call by no means, and it's not a winning battle if you have it or don't have it, or a winning proposition. So
we run tournaments for all them years, and we canceled some tournaments when the flooded water was up in parking lots, when you couldn't even get down the roads to the boat ramp. You couldn't even get to the boat ramp, and people would complain because we canceled them. I can't live with that if something would happen to somebody.
That's right.
And anybody that's ever had a tournament where somebody sunk a boat or something, and you're the tournament director and you're sitting at the parking lot with no boat and you can't get to them to check on them or see if, you'd understand a little bit more of that. So guys, be patient with these tournament directors. They're doing this just to protect you and them and everybody else.
Yeah, because a lot of them don't understand, you know, in my situation where I see people from every part of the world, you know, you all become more like family. I see most of y'all more than I do a lot of my own family. So,
well, yeah,
it's not you know, it is my job in terms of money situation, but it's still, you know, looking out for the best of your situations, because I want to see you come home more than your family want to see you come home. And
well, and you and I have become really good friends over the last few years, and we do a lot of projects together, and I'm pleased that we do that. But it would be the same if I was running the tournament and you was fishing it. I would want nothing to happen to you or anyone else while he's out there. So
yeah, that's right.
Tell me a little bit more about Helena, Arkansas. That's not all that far from me.
Well, Helena, Arkansas, you mentioned it, Mississippi River, which St. Louis I'm working on now, Lyle. Now that Bass Pro and Cabela's are together, and I can work with the Bass Pro and the Cabela's at St. Louis. I have a lot of pull, so working on it. But Helena, Arkansas is right below Memphis, and from anybody that you talk to that's fished below Memphis a lot, it gets better and better the farther south you go. You know, you get down around Baton Rouge and the fishing's phenomenal, but it's just a long ways down there. And Helena, Arkansas is just right below Tunica, and we had over 300 pounds in a 2-day wait last year that we had weighed in, and it was just some awesome fishing. It was tough, it was hot, but they still caught a lot of great fish, and they caught a lot of fish. That was the impressive thing. You hear a lot of Mississippi River stories where they go catch 8 or 9 in a day. They were catching 20 and 30 in a day down like Greenville, that area. So that's one of those kind of untapped fisheries that a lot of people just don't know about. But got some great big fish. And when it's on, it could beat out Memphis any day of the week. So,
Well, you know, I love big rivers. I love fast current. I love high water to an extent. And I love Memphis. So if it's better than Memphis, I would be very happy to be there.
yeah, yeah. In my opinion, and from talking to a lot of the fishermen that stay down there a lot, even the guys that fish Memphis a lot, they went down there, some of them for their first time, and just loved it. And that's where they go back now. You know, even in some of the Memphis tournaments, they run down to Helena quite often. So
Right.
it's a great fishery. It's just, there's not a lot down there. There's a great casino that we work with, the Isle of Capri on the Mississippi side. And then the town of Helena is wonderful to work with. If y'all tune in tomorrow, I'll be doing a live feed. They've got a new mayor, and we'll be talking about, you know, them wanting people to come in. And I always heard that Helena, Arkansas, or Memphis, Tennessee, was like the blues capital of the world. But you know where blues actually started? What Memphis?
It wasn't.
Helena, Arkansas. So
Really?
they have one of the largest blues festivals the end of August, 1st of September. It's the King Biscuit Blues Festival. They've had B.B. King, all of the big blues people, and that's where it started before Memphis. So it's a lot of cool history down there. I just did not know.
So for all the viewers tonight, you just found out some trivia that you probably did not know.
That's right. And I'm going to ask that at the weigh-in, and I'll be giving stuff away. So hope you remember that come August 10th.
Oh, man. What do you got going at the Catfish Conference this weekend besides coming over visiting with Stock and I?
Well, we're in booth number 20, so make sure you come see us over in booth number 20. We'll be doing, if you've got a youngster under 16, make sure you come get them signed up, come by our booth. A lot of people have a 501c3 company separate from our catfish and crappie trails that funds kids scholarships. To date, we've done $366,000 in college scholarships. Noah Ishcomer being one of those that won those last year from Texas. But any kid under 16 that fishes in any of the team events, or the kids 12 and under that fish our kids rodeos while y'all are out fishing during the Saturday tournaments, goes into a $1,000 scholarship drawing. But this year at the Catfish Conference, any kid that's under 16 and comes by, we will put their name in for that drawing. Also, Mr. Ron Presley, we talked about it last week at Santee Cooper. The ladies that are joining the catfish world, every one of them I've ever met, catfish lady, are tremendous people. And more times than not, it's kind of like a Cindy and Lyle. You know, Cindy's a better fisherman than Lyle. The women always do better fishing.
That's right.
And Cindy's in there. I was just checking to see if she was in there or not.
Oh, yeah. And I'm quite sure I'll be hearing about that.
But it's so impressive to see all the ladies and the families fishing. Ron last year took all the group pictures of the ladies that attended the conference. This year, Miss Karen's having a small kind of not life-threatening surgery, but they're not going to be able to make it up there. So Saturday at 1 o'clock at our booth, we will be doing a all-women's photo shoot for any of the catfish ladies that are there for Ron Presley and Catfish Now. So make sure they come over there by it as well.
Absolutely. I did not know Karen was having issues. We want a speedy recovery and prayers sent out to Karen. She goes with Ron to all these events and does an outstanding job. And there's not better folks in the world to visit with than Ron and Karen.
That's right. That's right. I agree. We just spent the week with Ron down in South Carolina, and it's always a great pleasure when we get to spend some time with Ron and Miss Karen. Miss Karen didn't get to make it because I think she was getting ready for her. It's a minor surgery. I don't think it's a major operation, but had to have a healing process where they couldn't come to Louisville. So
right. Well, and he's doing the right thing to stay in there with her and taking care of her. I think they've been together a long time, and like I say, there's not finer people anywhere. He does so much for our sport, and them's the kind of people that we have to have in the sport, because they don't just help and work with me, they work with you, and they work with everybody else in the industry, and they make a lot of tournaments and all the big events, and they take pictures and stuff, and Ron does articles in magazines and things. So Karen is by his side 100% of the time.
That's right. And I think a lot of Ron, he's not a biased writer. Anything that's going on in the catfish world, he covers through Catfish Now, through their social media.
Correct.
If you call him and need some coverage or want to get him there, he'd be tickled to death, whether it's my tournament, another tournament.
Right.
Catfish Conference. He just enjoys the sport and has done a lot for the sport. So.
Yep. Drove all the way to Missouri last year for our big tournament.
Yep, that's right.
We had a great time with Ron and Karen, and they're just wonderful folks.
Yes.
So anything else going on that you need to enlighten us about, Jeremy?
Well, if y'all could warm up the temperature a little bit, because from what I heard, Milford Lake is still frozen. And
yeah,
Milford Lake's coming up in about a month and a half. So need the lake to thaw out. I put a picture on or a video on our Facebook of the owner of Acorns Resort welcoming all the anglers. And could you believe Ryan Nagy is going to make the trip out there to Milford Lake?
Oh, I can believe that. Yeah, that kind of his backyard.
Yeah, he's all of 3 or 4 minutes away.
I was just getting ready to say, if you want that ice off of there, Ryan Nagy's the guy that you need to talk to. He needs to do something out there, get his propane heater out or something.
That's right. I agree. But no, I think our late fee for the Tawakoni tournament, let's see, is actually going to start Thursday or Friday. So make sure you get your entries in if you won't miss the late fee for Tawakoni. But
it's next Friday coming up.
Do what?
Is it this Friday or next Friday?
This Friday. It's the 22nd.
Oh, man. I'm behind.
Today's the 20th. So, yeah, it'll kick in on Friday. So.
Okay. Ryan Nagy is actually in the Facebook chat, and he says it really, really frozen. So, Jeremy, you need to call Ryan and say, hey, dude, what do we got to do to get this ice off here? We got a tournament, man. And I know Ryan Nagy will be in that tournament.
Yeah, he'll be a force to be reckoned with.
You betcha.
And he's an awesome guy down there. If you want to go back, we're having a tournament out there next spring and the Classic out there next year. So you may want to book a guide trip with old Ryan Nagy and get out there and figure out how to catch some of those Kansas blue cats. And you were talking about the Texas tournament coming up. Michael and Terry Littlejohn, if you're not familiar with them, wonderful couple. I think the world of them, awesome fishermen. But they have a live feed. I can't remember the nights. I just see it, but it's live with the guides. Tuesday night. So make sure you get on there with live with the guides. And, if you want to figure out some information or what's going on Tawakoni, they're pretty generous with what's going on and giving a fishing report and what they've been doing all week. So may get on there and see how everything's going before you decide to head to Texas.
That's correct, and there's several nice, good guides down on Tawakoni. Michael and Terry is who I'm familiar with, but there's some other guys down there that's absolutely been laying out some giant fish also. And I'm sorry, but I have a hard time remembering everybody's names. When we do these shows, I write all that stuff down, and I didn't do that because I didn't know what we was going to be talking about tonight. But Michael and Terry are such great friends, and they do a wonderful job. And their show on Tuesday night is really, really fun and high energy, and you get to see all the guides. And they got 3 full-time guides besides themselves, plus 1 that's part-time guide. And like I say, I know today they was on some studs down there.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, if we can get 65 boats there like I had at Santee Cooper last week, we'll pay back $16,500 or in round numbers. So
16.5. That's a pretty good payday.
Yep. First place was like 5,200. Big fish would be about 1,280. So pay back about 10 places. So
and then you're entered in the year-end tournament.
Yeah.
So and now you want to tell us about the year-end prizes that you're giving out this year while we're on here?
Well, One of the things that you can come see, I've seen several different boats that just got done by Excel, and I hadn't seen yours yet, but we won't talk about that.
It won't be too long.
Won't be too long. Good deal. Well, there'll be several XL boats at the Catfish Conference, which is our new boat sponsor. Me and Jay Paul have a really good relationship, and we're glad to have XL on board. But they'll be unveiling their new model. But we will be giving away an XL Stormcat 230 for first place. We will then be rigging it with a 250 horse Mercury 4-stroke. Minn Kota trolling motor, the 112-pound Ulterra, the Lazy Man's trolling motor, Helix 12 side image, a whole 9 yards, extreme bait tank, full Driftmaster rod rack, and a full set of B&M poles right now. So all you got to do is put gas in it, license it, and go fishing. But
awesome.
That'll be first place. Be giving away $30,000 in points based off your best 5 finishes. That'll be to the top 20 points teams. Then we'll be giving away $120,000 at the Classic altogether. So, and Decatur, Alabama, November 1st and 2nd.
And that's where everybody wants to be.
Yep.
That's a great lake down there, and the weather should be pretty good that time of year, so everything should be rocking.
Yep, that's right.
Good deal. All right, Jeremy, is there anything else we need to visit about?
Can't think of anything in a few days in Louisville, Kentucky. So look forward to seeing everybody there. Everybody come out to the Catfish Conference.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. And you have safe travels. I know you got a long trip tomorrow and a long trip back. So have a great time. I want to thank everybody for joining us on YouTube and Facebook tonight. We're going to get this thing figured out where it works every time we use it. Hope you enjoyed the show. And Jeremy, when's the next time we're going to be talking to you?
Whenever you want me to come sit down with you, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So
well, we're going to continue to do these Where Are Jeremy? So, people can tune in and we'll make this thing happen and get her going.
That's right.
All right, Jeremy. Thanks so much.
Guys.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight, and we'll see everybody this weekend.